think that maybe as a child you see those things and maybe you experience those things and you need an outlet. Welcome to the Truth Serum. This is Palesa, and I'm very excited about what I want to talk about today, but I'm also nervous because I think it hits a little bit close to home. It's kind of sensitive for me, and as I'm starting to explain it, you're probably gonna be like, "What?" But yeah. So today I want to talk about childhood games, the games that I grew up with. Playing those games. But before I get into that, let me just tell you a little something about myself. I was born in Soweto. I grew up there. I love Soweto, guys. The moment I get into Soweto, the very beginning, my heart is just like, oh yes, I'm home. I was a, what do you call this? I was a strat mate. Have you ever been called that by your parents or whatever? I was that kid that was always in the street. Like when I came home, I was dirty from playing the entire time. I was that kid, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be allowed to sleep in any bed if I didn't bath that night because I was always in the streets playing, you know what I mean? And that's just I think that's one of my favorite things about my childhood is that, like, when I was playing, I was a child. I was playing. I didn't think about, the things that I thought about when I was alone. But like I was a kid, and that was really special to me. That's my conversation actually for today, is the childhood games that we played and how they were actually, well, some of them were actually a little bit provocative and maybe I think may have kind of had some kind of a hand in perpetrating rape culture and sexual abuse and made us not comfortable, but we brushed it off, you know what I mean? And yes, at the time we were kids, but we can't act like the stuff that we experience as kids make us forget, that don't necessarily shape who we are as adults, you know what I mean? Because they do, you know. There are some games that I want to draw your attention to that make me think of certain abusive and rapey vibes. And to be honest, I just want to know, like, where do these games come from? Like, why, how did we play those things? So that's my question for you today. Do you think that some of our childhood games were provocative and maybe encouraged or perpetrated rape culture and sexual abuse? Do you think that maybe, the reason why a lot of people grow up to potentially be abusers and rapists? This is so hard. This is really hard for me. But yeah, that's the conversation for today, right? So, first one, if you ever played umgusha, I don't know what that is in English. I can't possibly explain it in English. Umgusha, take like stockings. Oh, here I am explaining it in English. Stockings, mix that up and make a thing, and you play in that, you have to have like more than one person. There's like the basic umgusha, and then there's the umgusha where you like, there's like songs that come with it, and like there's 3 people, Raphela, and like 1, 2, 3, or sometimes 4, and then like there's like people on that side, like it's a thing, and you gotta know where to go, blah blah blah. Anyway, that's not the point. But there's that ngusha where there's like that has the songs, and the songs are basically one of the things that I want to talk about. One of them says, what's this? How does it go? The first level. Beat. Oh yes. And then it goes, baby, come on, let's twist again. Baby, come on, let's twist again. That's like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit, weird. And then there's another one that says, do nusa my baby, do nusa. If you don't know what that means, it means bend over, babe. like bend over. It is a sexual thing. And then there's this other one that's the one that really like tugs at my heart, because I think I did ask somebody about this, and they said that it's not a rape thing, but I fully believe that it is a rapey thing. It says puti ngiyeke man, ngiyeke, and then it says uzoliwasha le paint. Basically what that means is puti, it just means boy or man or brother. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're related to that person. It actually means brother, but it doesn't always mean that you're related to them. So it says person, man, boy, leave me alone. And then it says uzoliwasha le paint, meaning you will wash my underwear. And immediately, I know for a fact, even at my young age, I thought that this person was forcing themselves on the girl, and the girl said that you will wash my underwear because I'm gonna bleed on it after you forced yourself on me, right? If that is not rapey, I don't know, but yeah, that's the one that yeah. So that's the Mugusha games, right? And then there's this other one where it's not a game, but it's like something we did when we did umgiti. I don't know how to, what umgiti, like ugita, ugita. I don't know. Traditional games. Traditional dancing, rather, sorry. There was this song that would go, basically the girl child who was married to a man would say to her mom, meaning, ma, this man is hurting me, he's bothering me, he's not treating me well. And then the husband of the man of the house would say, Thula mntanami, sidla ngaye la ekhaya, meaning that keep quiet, stay in that hurt and abuse, because he feeds us, he takes care of us, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm like tearing up. Okay, so yeah, those things. And then there's another one. I'm not even sure if I want to get into this, but I'm gonna just talk about it. And then the other game that we used to play was what's this? There's like no way to say this in English. Mantlwana, when you play mommy and daddy and kids, you guys like act like you have that and stuff like that. And I think that growing up in Soweto, like my version of a household was very different from, I guess, other areas, suburban or white areas, I guess, I don't know. Because I didn't necessarily like go to school in Soweto. I went to school in Rhodoport, which was like predominantly white colored people as well. So like, yeah, I had friends that were mostly white or colored at the time. And like, we also played Mantlwana, even if it wasn't called that at school. But we played that. And the typical thing in that environment was a mom and a dad and children. But then when I went back home and when we played Mantlwana in Soweto, it was a mom, a dad who lived somewhere else, wasn't with the mom, a grandmother, uncle, cousin, aunt, maybe, things like that. That was a typical household. Even in my house, that's what it was. My mom, it was my great grandmother, it was my grandmother, it was my aunt, it was my cousin. That was what a household was for us. And I did actually notice that difference very quickly in my life, that it's actually different in different areas. But that's not even the conversation. But when we played Mantlwana, we would basically imitate what we see almost on a daily basis. Things, that your mom says, or if you live with your dad, things that your dad said, things that your grandmother said, things that your aunt did and your uncle did and your cousins. You know what I mean? So Mantlwana was just that. I mean, maybe we were younger. We were definitely younger than 9 years old. And we'd play that. And sometimes, you choose, okay, you're going to be the mama, ubaba, kwena, rachadi, or is the cousin, etc., etc. So now I want to just talk about a certain scenario that happened when I was a kid. I mean, at that time, I didn't think much of it. I didn't think, sorry, I didn't think much of it. I didn't think it was, obviously, I think all of us as children, maybe we didn't see it as something that as hurtful as how it feels to me now. But there was like a moment, because obviously you pretend like it. And then there was a moment where I think, who was I don't know who I was, honestly. I don't remember who I was, but there was a kid who was the child at home, and then there was a mom, and then there was the uncle, and then one day the mom is like, okay bana baka, sengiyahamba manje, ngiyahamba ngiyemsebenzini, ngizonibona later, ngizosala nomalume, ne? And then the child starts to cry. So this kid is pretending, obviously, and is crying like, oh, angifuni mina ukusala nomalume, angifuni ukusala nomalume, you know, meaning that I don't want to stay with my uncle, so then the mom is like, no, mele ngihambe ngiyemsebenzini because, you know, sidinga imali, asina mali, you know. Oh, there's so many things to the story, but just gonna stick to the one. So the mom says, yeah, I seen a man, yeah, how many 17. Oh, then as the kid, yeah, going there, the mom going to work, and then the child stays at the house with the uncle. And although nothing sexual happens, when the mom comes home from work, the child cries and says to the mom, like the child is frantic, like angisafuni ukuhlala nomalume, umalume uyangibamba, uyangithinta, you know, meaning that my uncle is touching me in places that I don't like. My uncle is doing things to me that are not nice. I don't like it. It's painful, etc. So now there's like so many questions that I have with that. The child that was doing that, like pretending to do that, were they doing it because it's something that they experienced, or were they doing it because it's something that they saw? I don't think there's any other answer besides those two. It's either they were experiencing it or they saw it. The scenario that I just described now is just one of many, you know. Oh. It's just one of many. There's been a lot of different scenarios, you know. I know for a fact that I enacted one myself, even if it wasn't family, but I definitely enacted one myself, because you see it. I think that maybe as a child you see those things, and maybe you experience those things, and you need an outlet. I guess maybe what I'm saying is that, you know, children experience things, and it's not, I guess maybe parents or people, adults, don't necessarily see these things, you know. Like I said, there's many scenarios, and the reason why I explained some of the other games, like, you know, the other games in Ngusha, etc., is that when we were playing, we were not just playing with just girls. It was boys as well. It was young little boys who also have their own experiences and their own things that they saw at home or somewhere else. And at the time, I think that, you know, in any human, even if you are a child, the first time you see something that is wrong, the first time you see something something that's wrong, for example, like sexual abuse, or any kind of abuse, the first thing you think, if you have some empathy in you, you definitely think that it's wrong, it's not right, this is not something good, when you see it for the first time. And then when you see it more and more often, it starts to become something normal. And I think that that's what I'm trying to say, that like a lot of sexual or any other kind of abuse that happens is because it became normal in people's eyes, especially like the perpetrators. A child grew up in a house where maybe they witnessed their uncle abusing or forcing themselves on their cousin or sister, or they grew up in a household where their father beat their mom. And then what made that worse is that the parents, the mom, the child, the sister, never said anything about that abuse. They just sat there and took it. And I'm just saying they sat there and they took it. It's not that I'm saying that they were weak or whatever. I just think that it was difficult to leave, especially at those times. It was difficult as a child to say that you were sexually assaulted, because I don't think you even know what that is at that age. You know what I mean? Someone comes to you, you're 8 years old, and someone does somebody touches you somewhere, and you don't know what it is, especially if it's your family. Our games and the things we did, I think they are a contribution to why things happen the way that they do. It's just one aspect. It's just one small aspect that that contributes to why people abuse other people. So yeah, that's my perspective on things. I just want to hear your opinion. That's how I feel about it. But I just want to know from you, what do you think? Do you think that our childhood games probably perpetrated and encouraged, or maybe made light of sexual abuse and any kind of abuse, the older we get, etc. Tell me what you think. Comment, like, and subscribe. Yes. I'm gonna need to finish this whole bottle after this whole conversation. Yeah, tell me what you think. Bye.